Everyone, so I'm going to review the syllabus. This is the syllabus video for the Introduction to Psychology 5-week summer course. If you did not mean to sign up for this, definitely take a look and make sure you unenroll. But if you did, welcome, and I'm really excited to be working with you. So we're going to basically review the syllabus right here. We have some core learning outcomes, okay? And the first one is to demonstrate college level communication skills. After this course, I'm hoping that you learn to effectively communicate your thoughts and your beliefs in either written or verbal text, and to also critically think about the problems facing the world right now. So about COVID, about psychology and the psychological concepts that we review, and demonstrate this critical thinking when we are writing our content for the week. If we are writing a critical thinking journal, then having this ability to critically think about what we are writing about. You know, who was the author? Was it factual information? What makes facts? You know, what makes it different from opinions? Do we believe opinion articles more than factual articles? You know, things like that. And we also want to understand and interpret personal, social, and educational values. And we will also be reviewing the different psychological perspectives. So developmental psychology, memory, learning, personality, gender. Those are just a few of the components that we will cover in this course. Okay, so we have a couple of different ways I'm going to be assessing. So the first is going to be through critical thinking journals. You will have a total of 4, okay? 4 critical thinking journals, and they will each have their own instructions. So it'll be pretty straightforward. You will have a critical thinking journal due every week except for week 4. And you will have 5 content quizzes. And you will have every week to complete at least 1 quiz except for week 4. So week 1, you will be completing 2 content quizzes. And then week 2, you will be completing 1. And then week 3, you will be completing 1. Week 4, you will not be doing anything because you will be working on your paper. And then week 5 will be the final content quiz. So the final assessment is that final paper on week 4, and we will review the instructions for that after this. So we have 5 quizzes, 25 points each, 4 critical thinking journals, 25 points each, and then the final assessment is 75 points. So I expect you to have some academic integrity and get the information that you need from resources and cite them. I have had issues in the past with academic, with cheating and people, you know, not using the appropriate citations. I work with you. If you have questions, ask me, but by no means submit a paper that was plagiarized, because that is something that I will figure out pretty quickly and we'll talk to you about. So just save us all the trouble. Do the work. It doesn't have to be perfect language used. That is part of this learning process. And when I'm teaching this course, the most important thing is that you learn something from the beginning to the end. Did you improve? And because this isn't an introduction course, psychology is important, but it's also important for you to use what we learned. So, you know, are you able to write better? Are you able to communicate your thoughts better? Do you understand certain concepts a little more? So that's kind of the goal of this course. So I'm going to pull up the research project Go here and okay. All right. Now this is a research project. So you will pick one topic. You will pick either a topic on mental illness or you will pick a psychology experiment as a topic. So if you pick the topic for mental illness, then you will pick a specific mental illness. Set up the paper here like this and have specific labels. Introduce what the illness is. What are some of the ways the environment affects us? So affects the different disorders. Psychological symptomology. What are the symptoms? Cultural. So is this an illness that exists only in the US or does it exist elsewhere? And if so, how does it manifest itself elsewhere? And then treatment options. What sort of treatments are specific to this mental illness? And then the conclusion and closing, and then your citations. So I want you to have scholarly and peer-reviewed references, at least 3 or 4, to kind of get a really good grip on what each of these mental illnesses are, on the specific mental illness and what each of these components are in that mental illness. Or if you pick psychology experiments, I want you to pick from one of these, or if there's one not on the list, email me and we will talk about it. Again, introduce it. Synopsis of experiment. Provide an overview of what the experiment was. Methods. How was this experiment completed? The results. This may only be a couple sentences, and that's okay. This is where you get into the bigger part of the content in here. Experiments similar to this one. I promise you there is experiments out there that are either identical, replicated, or similar enough to be compared to the experiments that I've listed above. So in that regards, I want you to really hone in on this section if you pick this, so that we can, so that you can pull what other experiments are similar to them. And then lastly, critique of the experiment. What are things that you as a scientist now have evaluated and realized that there are some flaws in this experiment, and evaluate those flaws. And if you can't specifically find anything, then read about it. Get a source. Either quote. I don't really like direct quotes, but if you cite it, make sure you cite everything and have, so-and-so talked about how the marshmallow test had these issues, these things that were wrong with it, and then, list them, and then you cite that. So it's a little bit more complicated than that, but that sort of concept of, if you can't identify it, that's fine, but what you need to do is find a resource that does. Because yet again, this one, I really want you to have around 3 or 4 peer-reviewed resources. Okay, and this is the breakdown of the grading. So this is actually all in the assessments, so you can review it. And the last thing that I'm going to actually go through, let's see if I can, okay. Oop. Nope, sorry about this. It's a new computer. You can just fast forward to when I actually show you what I'm trying to show you. Okay. All right. So this is going to be your course. And I haven't finished setting it up. So I'm going to have announcements here, what's due, general comments. So definitely check the announcements page. Syllabus is this syllabus video, and the actual physical syllabus is going to be uploaded to here. If you press the Start Here button, you have the completion of Blackboard orientation if you want to do it. If this is your first time using Blackboard, I definitely recommend it, but if you know what you're doing, no need to do it. Introduction to Psychology. You will click on this link and it'll send you to my welcome video, which is separate from this one. And then you can review. If you have an accommodation, please let me know as soon as you can, because this is a fast course. So then we go into weekly content, okay? We have these different weekly contents. Okay, so week one. Week one is going to have the heaviest amount of content. So you have this, and then you have all of this. I have to review the recordings still. Some of the stuff you won't need, like the discussion rubric. We don't have discussion boards here. So let me pick a better example here. Week 3 content. Okay, so we have personality and memory. All right. So I have an article here. You focus on those highlighted sections. Personality assessment, personality traits. Let's see if I... So when they pull up, they're very simple readings that are really easy to read. At least I think so, and pretty interesting as well. Okay, so then you go into assessments, and this is where the critical thinking journals are, as well as the quizzes. I have yet to upload the quizzes, but here are the critical thinking journals. Okay, we have critical thinking journal 1 right here. And then we have an example critical thinking journal right here. So this is just an example that someone graciously gave me. Try not to have this highlighted section here, so try to just write out the citation, but this was a pretty good critical thinking journal. All right, and of course you can go to My Grades to see your grades. So, yeah, I just have 150 of the 300 points in there for right now. I just have to finish fixing all this. Okay, so if you have any questions, please email me. The first week, I will have a meeting with all of you that you can come to or not. I will have basically a session, I think either on Monday or Wednesday at 12, probably Wednesday at 12. And I'll have links to that, but you don't have to come. But if you want to, I will review content and help kind of piece things together. So I'm excited that you're here, and I hope you enjoy the course.